Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Man, I've been waiting for this one. Special guest is Latreille. Last time we had you, it was about a year ago. We had just signed Sam Darnold. Minnesota Vikings were getting ready. I don't think anybody could have imagined that the Minnesota Vikings would have had the season that they would have had last year. 14-3, man. Just can't believe it. But welcome back, Latreille, the artist known as Latreille, my son. I love having him on the show just so we can talk a little bit of Minnesota Viking sports, man. How are things all the way up there in Portland, Oregon?
Oh, they're good over here. Thanks for having me on the show. Love the UP Nation. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to talk some Vikings football with you today.
Obviously, the hot topic is Adam Thielen. I mean, we got a lot of things that we have to cover and kind of pick your brain on, but the most recent big news is Adam Thielen coming back to the Vikings. I thought it was a good move. I wanted Jacoby Meyer just because I think he's just coming off a 1,000-yard season with the Raiders, but I'm not mad that Adam Thielen is coming back home. What are your thoughts? Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison when he gets off of his suspension. What do you think about the three-headed tandem?
You know, I'm team Adam Thielen all the way. I was really happy to see him come back home to Minneapolis. I think he was very happy. I don't know if you saw any of the videos of him and his family. They were all seemed like a good vibe. I'm a really big fan of Adam Thielen. I think, you know, his hands are unmatched. I think he's got one of the best sets of hands out of any of the receivers out there in the league right now. So, you know, that gives me confidence. I also really am confident in him just fitting in with the system. You know, he knows his role. He's a role player. And, you know, we've got Justin Jefferson, obviously the greatest wide receiver in my opinion. We got Jordan Addison coming back. And I think while, you know, Addison is gone, I think Adam Thielen is really going to be that number 2 guy for us. He's really going to help J.J. McCarthy, especially, you know, with those he's always got those drag routes going, cooking. So I think he's just going to be something that's going to make us feel comfortable as an offense. He knows the business. He's got that relationship with Justin Jefferson as well in terms of route combinations and just knowing the offense that way.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really, really good. Obviously, when Jordan Addison comes back, that three-headed monster is going to be unreal. You know, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think JJ McCarthy is happy too. So
yeah, we can also throw like a guy in there like TJ Hawkinson. That's a four-headed monster.
Yeah.
You're talking about running those drag routes, being a presence in the middle of the field, man. It's going to be big time. The one thing that I like about the Adam Thielen trade is I think he's got a couple of years left. Like if you would have brought a guy in like Jacoby Meyer, it probably would have been a 1-year rental. You know, he's looking for his bag. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings wanted to invest in him long-term because they got Jordan Addison. But Adam Thielen, like you said, knows the system, played for Kevin O'Connell before, understands how to be a presence on the field outside of, you know, Justin Jefferson, because a lot of teams are going to be double teaming him. Now that's almost impossible. That's almost
too many people to guard.
Too many people to guard. Like you're not going to be able to. Oh man, it's going to be. This offense is going to be box office if JJ McCarthy.
That's the big if. That's the big if.
That's the big if. Do you think JJ is ready? Like the preseason has really turned over the last 5 to 8 years where the main guys don't play. And I don't know why that is. You know, obviously they talk about injury and stuff like that, but JJ McCarthy is coming off a season where he couldn't even practice. So for me, my philosophy is get him in the game, get him some reps, you know, have him play at least a series in each preseason game just to get his feet wet a little bit. Like, what's your philosophy on that? Do you think he was underutilized in the preseason? Do you think he should have played? Like, what's your thoughts?
Well, let me start with this. I'm super confident in JJ McCarthy, and that's because I'm just bought in, you know, at this point. You know, we're not going any other direction. As a Vikings fan, I want to be happy with my quarterback. And so I'm fully bought in. I have high hopes for him, and I believe he's going to hit those high hopes. But what I will say also is I do think there's something to be said about um, the amount that he got to play in the preseason. That one drive, I was just surprised that's all he got this whole
Yeah,
preseason.
yeah.
And I know there was, practice and all of that, and I understand that. And you're kind of trying to save him. You don't want teams to see kind of how he plays and what his tendencies are. I understand that. But like you were saying, I do think it's really important for you to get that game run feel and kind of feel the somewhat pressure of preseason, the somewhat pressure of having to live up to some sort of expectation while it doesn't really matter. And now he's going to be thrown right into that Monday night game against the Bears,
Prime
and
time.
that's going to be intense. That's going to be
Yeah.
intense for any quarterback, but let alone a rookie quarterback, quote unquote rookie quarterback coming in with high expectations, that's going to be a big test for him. And so I do wish he would have got a little bit more tick in the preseason, but I also understand both sides.
Yeah, obviously I'm not an NFL coach, but I do coach for a living, and I think there are times where people always look at the X's and O's stuff in terms of getting players prepared for games, but there's that mental side of it as well. Like, I think you have to take JJ McCarthy through game day preparation as soon as he wakes up in the morning. What is that going to look like all the way up until he steps on the field as a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? I think those type of reps mentally are also beneficial as well. I think you made a good point. Like, you're just going to throw him into the Wolves like right away, Monday night, prime time. The nation's going to be watching Soldier Field. No matter what you think about the Chicago Bears, their defense is not scrubs,
Right.
so they're going to bring some things, and it's going to be kind of, test by fire with JJ McCarthy. Hopefully, he can perform. The one thing I like about the Minnesota Vikings is this. Like, I think the Minnesota Vikings have improved like in every area.
Mhm.
Their running game, their
Mhm.
offensive line, their defensive line, their front seven is probably going to be the best in the NFL. If there was one weak spot, maybe their secondary, like they don't have a lot of depth there. They're going to have to possibly pick up somebody, but they just seem to be strong like in every area. Like, do you agree with
Yeah.
that?
No, I do. I do agree with that. I like you said, we made strides this offseason to improve the already great team that we had. So, yeah, I do think we're headed in the right direction. But like you said, I think our secondary is lacking. I do think we still have some time to kind of make adjustments, and I don't know if it's going to happen before week one. I doubt it. But we'll see how our defense holds up in the secondary. But I do think if there was any weak spot to our team, that's probably where I would be looking. But it's a 53-man roster, so if that means we're bringing somebody else on, that means we're going to have to remove somebody as well. So I don't know what we'll do there, but yeah, I do think we've improved everywhere. I'm really excited to see our offensive line in action, and I'm really excited about that aspect of our game. I'm also really excited to see. Obviously, Aaron Jones is great, but I'm also really excited to see Jordan Mason come
Are you
in and be
stud?
a Viking. I mean,
Yep.
that dude is a stud and could be a number one on multiple different teams. And so I'm really excited to see him go to work. I'm also just excited to see JJ McCarthy play a full game. We saw that one drive, but I'm extremely excited to see how he handles, throwing his first interception and coming back from that,
Yeah.
and throwing
Adversity.
a touchdown and staying calm and staying even keel and moving to the next drive. I'm excited to see all that happen because we haven't seen that yet. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it all.
When you look at the Minnesota Vikings and their schedule, like, I'm a firm believer in getting off to great starts. And I think the middle of their schedule, Malin, is like it's really tough. Like, when they come
It
out of
is.
the bye, they've got Philadelphia, they've got the Ravens, they've got the
Yep.
Chargers, they've got the Lions. I mean, so
Yep.
that's not going to be easy. So their first 5 games, I've been talking about this on past podcasts. Like, I think they have to have a chance at the playoffs. I think they have to go 4-1 at worst, but I do think they have the ability to go 5-0. Now, this was before the Pittsburgh Steelers picked up Aaron Rodgers. I'm not on board with Aaron Rodgers being a scrub or washed up. I do think he makes that Pittsburgh Steelers team a little bit better. Plus, that game is going to be overseas. So that's going to be a tougher game than I originally thought. But the way the Vikings are going to start, with the Bears, the Atlanta Falcons, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, and then
We
the
got to win those
Cincinnati
games.
Bengals.
Yep.
I think they can win all of those games. Like, so that start is really important. Do you think the start is important for them?
Absolutely. I mean, as you could see last year, we started hot. You know what? You saw how our year ended. So yeah, I'm a firm believer that starting hot is important. Obviously, there's gonna be some growing pains for JJ McCarthy, a new quarterback. I mean, there's gonna be some mistakes, and as fans, we got to be ready to witness those mistakes and stay on board,
Support him.
that support him. He's
Yep.
gonna need that. I will say though, from what I've seen from JJ McCarthy, on the field obviously, but also off the field, he seems like he's got a great head on his shoulders. He seems like he's focused. He seems like he's ready. He's been waiting on this moment, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so I do think there are some, issues on the defensive side that would lead to possibly, losing a game here or there. But we'll see. Flores is a heck of a coach, knows how to scheme, knows how to game plan. So yeah, starting 5-0 is not an impossible task at all.
Yeah, man. The thing that I'm really impressed about is our general manager, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and the team that he has been put together. When a lot of people talk about Kwesi, they talk about like the 2022 draft, and that was an abysmal draft for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, there's just no mistaking about that. Probably next year there won't be anybody from that draft left.
Right.
But the amount of free agents that he has been able to bring
Oof.
over the last couple of years, I mean, arguably his first free agent class a couple of years ago, I mean, with Sam Darnold heading that class, Stephon Gilmore, those guys, you could argue that that's probably the best free agent class ever.
Yeah.
And then because of the salary cap space they had this offseason, they bring in another strong class, free agency class. And then they bring in all these undrafted free agents that are making a team. Seven
Yeah.
undrafted free agents made the team this year. Kwesi's doing a great job. What are your thoughts about Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, man?
Oh, I just wanna sit back and just appreciate the fact that we have a solid front office. I've
Yep.
been a Vikings fan my whole life, and that was not always the case. We were not
No.
always making good decisions. We were not always thinking ahead. We were not taking it serious like that. I feel like now I'm looking at our situation, and I feel like sometimes we're playing chess while other teams are playing checkers, Like, I feel
Exactly.
like we are thinking 3 steps, 4 steps ahead, and I love that. I love seeing that. I also think with, the free agent aspect of things, obviously that's great, but I think to get players interested in wanting to come to Minnesota, it's not a massive market, area, and so I think that's a testament to, the culture that we've built, and the vibe that we have as a team, and I think players are excited to come to Minnesota and come play, as a Viking, and so, yeah, everything is just looking up. I just really want to just sit back and just appreciate the fact that we have a good front office and we're making smart decisions.
Yeah, we are talking to Malin Jones, aka Latre on Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It's it's really all about the culture. Like I mean, it hasn't been this way before. Under Zimmer, I think you made a great point. Like there were people that would come here for the money. If the price is right, you're always going to be able to get, the top dollar free agent. But now there are guys, there's talk around the league that the Minnesota Vikings just have a great culture here. People don't want to leave. We just saw Harrison Phillips get traded to the Jets. I mean, he's arguably
Yeah,
going from one of the best culture franchises in the league to a team like the
not so
Jets,
good.
who new coaches, they really don't have the culture.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I really, really feel bad for the guy. I mean, KLC has really done a fantastic job in just building that. And you talk about a three-headed monster. You have ownership that is willing to spend money. You have a
mhm,
culture builder in KLC. And then
yep,
you have a general manager that goes out and make moves. I mean, just look at the past week. He brings back Adam Thielen, and then
yep,
our QB2 issue that we had. Sam Howell wasn't looking very good. He brings in Carson Wentz.
Carson
Um,
Wentz.
I think I think the verdict is still out on Carson Wentz if he has anything left. But the fact that Kwesi was willing to go out and make a move, man, that's absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic. Like, what are your thoughts about Carson Wentz, former MVP
I
when
know.
he played for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that move, to be honest. I hope I don't see him this year.
I
Nothing
hope so
against
too.
him. I hope I don't
Right.
have to see him, but he's a perfect guy to come in to plug in a game or two. If JJ McCarthy were to go down for whatever reason that might be. And I think he has the experience as an NFL quarterback. He's been around the league. He's seen all the schemes and defenses around the league. Like you said, he was MVP. He's got game. He's not a bum. He's not a scrub. He knows how to play. So I feel good about it as a backup. But like I said, I hope I don't have to see him. I'm really, really pulling for JJ this year and that our whole team stays healthy. But yeah, I'm happy with Carson Wentz for sure.
I'm gonna put you on the hot seat here. Like, what is what is your expectation for JJ McCarthy? I mean, this thing could go either way. I mean, either he could fall off a cliff and not be very good, which I don't think is going to happen. He can be what you could call, I guess, an average quarterback, have an average year, or he could turn out to be box office. I mean, people have done it before in the NFL in terms of their rookie season. Like when you think about JJ, you saw his skill set at Michigan. I mean, he beat our Buckeyes twice when they were on a 7-game losing streak to us. Like, what are your thoughts about JJ? Like, what's your expectation? What type of season do you think he's going to have?
Yeah, to me, honestly, it's pretty simple for me. I think my expectation for him is any expectation I would have for a first round quarterback selection rookie, first year.
Yep. Yep.
So, I expect to see mistakes, but I also expect some success as well,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
and obviously there's it's a spectrum, right? We've seen, Jaden Daniels come in and dominate right away, for
Yeah.
Washington. We've seen, other players come in and not do so well. So there's a middle ground in there too, and so I hope he's on the high end of the spectrum, but I'm also expecting mistakes, and that's okay. But ultimately, what I really want to see is that he can bounce back from those mistakes, and that he also stays calm in success. It never gets too big for him. And there's a lot of energy in that stadium. There's a lot of personalities on our team in terms of the offense, and so being the leader of all of that, it's important that he can manage his emotions and bounce back from mistakes and stay even keel with success. So yeah, I'm looking forward to JJ McCarthy's first year. High expectations, like I said. I think he's gonna do well, personally. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. I think he's gonna do
I,
well.
I think he is going to be in terms of, and I try not to get too much into analytics, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. And here's where I say that. I try to take my emotion out of it and look at things analytically. And the one thing that I like about JJ McCarthy is KOC has him set up for success.
Yes.
Keep in mind, he's not going to have to come in and throw the ball 50 times a game. And I think that was part of his success at Michigan. He is going to have one of the best running games in the league. Number one, you
Yep.
got two bona fide runners in Aaron
Yep.
Jones and Jordan Mason. And then you got those offensive linemen up front. I was at practice a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
with the Vikings, and um, I was pretty close to the action. And I'm gonna tell you, those offensive linemen are huge.
Yep.
They're athletic and they're versatile. They're going to move people. And
Yep.
that's something that under KOC, the Minnesota Vikings, they just haven't been that really, really good running team. I think they're going
Yep.
to be that this year. I think Jordan
Yep.
Mason is going to lead our team in touchdowns because I think he's going to be hell in the red zone. He's a
Yeah.
tank. He's big.
Oh
He's
yeah.
yeah, he's
Fast,
just tough.
big. He's got all. He's got
Absolutely
it all.
tough
Yep.
to bring down. So I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to have an abundant amount of passing situations. Then you look at the best friend of a quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback in the NFL, is what? A tight end. He's got TJ Hawkinson. If he can stay healthy, one of the best tight ends in the league. And then you look at the perimeter, he's got that three-headed monster in terms of Thielen now,
Mhm.
Addison, and
Mhm.
Justin Jefferson. Like, I just don't see how he fails in that because the defense is going to keep them in games. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are going to play a lot of games where they're behind by a lot of points. Because you know, in football, once you get behind, you got to throw the ball more. I think they're going to be a ball control team. I think KLC is really going to be in his bag because now this team is reflecting more so on what he wants to do in terms of personnel and how he wants to play. So I think this is going to be the best version of the Minnesota Vikings under KOC that we have seen in a long time. And I'm not saying the record is going to be the same as last year, but I do think the team is going to be better. Now,
Yeah.
the X factor is the rest of the division. Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, who just
I
picked
don't know
up
if you
Micah
saw the move.
Parsons.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean,
That's not good.
no, our division is no joke. When you look at all the teams in our division, Malin, where do we stack up? Like, do you see us being able to win this division? Do you see a second, third, or dead last where a lot of people have us?
Yeah, I think the only reason why they have us dead last is because of the unknown, and that's,
Yes.
JJ McCarthy. I do not think we are dead last in the division, or in the conference, but, I do think it's gonna be a challenge. We have to play some good teams, and so, I do see us at the top half. I would like to say first, but like I said, there's some good team and we got the Lions, the Packers are no joke, the Bears are coming up, so, um, if I had to put a finger on where we'd land, I'm gonna say second. I would like to see first, but, if I was a betting man, I would be confident in saying second. Like I said, I have full faith in JJ McCarthy. I think he's gonna ball out. I think our offense is gonna look elite. I think our defense is gonna be like it was last year, and so I'm very confident in where we'll land. And so, yeah, I think second. I would love first though.
Who's first? If we're second, who do you have first?
Oof. That Packers edition is scary.
Yeah, it's
But I
tough.
still I still have the Lions. I just think the way that offense operates, and their defense, they're just so clean, in the way they play. They know each other. They have confidence in each other. I would say the Lions are probably up there.
Yeah,
But it's tough to call right now. We haven't
it
seen a whole
is.
lot from these starting units. So, um, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I look at the Lions as taking a step back. Now, when I say taking a step back, I don't know what that means. They were pretty
Yeah.
dominant
Yeah.
last year. If I had to pick someone in the division to not be in first, uh, over the Minnesota Vikings being first over the Vikes, it'll probably be the Packers. The it factor is for me, the X factor, I should say, for me is Jordan Love. Like I'm not quite sold on Jordan Love. I think
Yeah.
the Micah Parsons deal makes them a better team. But that thing better hit because they gave up a lot for
Yeah.
Micah Parsons.
They did.
So that better hit. But man, I just barring injury, I think the Minnesota Vikings personnel is just so good. I'm a
So good.
little concerned about the secondary. Like I just think they need somebody
I
that
do too.
is reliable.
Yeah, I
You
have that
know,
same opinion.
Yep. It's just it's not that it's a weak area of the team. It's just they just need to get better there. They
Yeah,
just
or
yeah.
deeper even. I don't know. It could be a little bit of mix of both. But yeah, I do think we're lacking in that area. Um, I'm excited for, our linebacker room. We got Van Ginkel.
Oh,
I'm excited to
dominant.
see him play. I mean, he's just entertaining to watch. So yeah, I don't think our defense is bad by any means, but I do think, yeah, we could upgrade the secondary. I'm really glad we brought Harrison Smith back though. I'm
Yes.
glad he's sticking around for another year. I think that's important for us, especially with our DB room maybe being a little weak. But yeah,
Yeah, the main reason Harrison Smith came back, he loves B-Flow. He and B-Flow,
but yeah,
they've got a really, really good relationship. He loves playing in that defensive system.
yeah,
I honestly believe that if Brian Flores would have got a head coaching job, that Harrison Smith
he would have left.
probably would not have been back on the team. But
Yeah,
I think he's looking at the roster, what they've done in free agency, and he kind
hmm,
of knows, okay, we've got a shot at this.
for sure.
I think, JJ McCarthy is a big part of it. Like
Yep,
he's gonna have to hit, and I think that's gonna set the tone for the
yep,
Minnesota Vikings season.
yeah.
Obviously, they went 14-3 last year. Do you see them getting near that? Or like what's your win total for the Minnesota Vikings?
I mean, I would love to see him come near that. I think it's a hard bet to make not knowing, again, how JJ McCarthy's gonna handle everything. I think a lot rides on how he plays. I think, like you said, we have all the pieces around him. A lot is gonna ride on how he plays. Like I said, I feel very confident in it. So, yes, I do think we could reach somewhere near 14-3. Now, 14-3, that's kind of absurd to
It
me.
is.
That's a crazy record in the NFL. So what we did last year, that was crazy. But I do think we can have a winning season, absolutely. I do think we're a playoff team, absolutely. So yeah, I have high hopes for the team.
I spent some time at practice. I got a chance to really be down close and see the coaches instruct. And the one thing about KOC that I learned just watching him is that he is a great teacher of the offense, number one, but he's a great teacher in the terms of the position of quarterback. Like there was never a
Yeah,
time that JJ McCarthy came off of a rep and KOC was not in his face. I mean, KOC was on him. There were plays that I thought were good plays by JJ McCarthy, and KOC came out and got on him about just technical things like his
good.
footwork, his rhythm, when he should release the ball. And I think that's why he's been so successful with quarterbacks. And I think that's a lucky thing that the Minnesota Vikings have with KOC is I know he gets called the quarterback whisperer and people kind of
Yeah,
laugh at that, but I do think that's kind of true. I mean, every quarterback that has come in here have had really big time success. I mean, some have fallen off and they had their moments like Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut. He was good for like,
yeah,
3 games. But KOC has done a fantastic job. And I think you're really going to see the body of work that he puts together with JJ McCarthy. And then at the same time, Sam Darnold in Seattle. Like, I just don't expect him to look the same in Seattle. Like, what are your thoughts about what KOC is able to do with quarterbacks? Obviously, we don't want to see Carson Wentz, but I think Carson Wentz is going to be beneficial being under KOC for a full year.
yeah, definitely. Not only is he great at, building the skills and breaking down, the aspects of being a good quarterback, but what I do think he's really good at as well is lifting guys up and building confidence. I think that's so big, especially at the quarterback position. It's such a mental game. You have to stay, like I said, even keel. And I think having confidence is such an important part, and I think he does a great job at that. I think you saw that with Dobbs. He came in not a starter at all. He had to, come in, learn this offense within a week, and then play. And the only way you can do that is feeling confident in yourself. And so obviously he's not doing anything to hurt people's confidence. And I think all he's doing is building the confidence of our quarterbacks. I think Carson Wentz being in the quarterback room with such experience is, I think, in part also why we brought Carson Wentz in, to add some veteran energy to the quarterback room for JJ McCarthy. And so, yeah, I think KOC is a great quarterbacks coach. I think he's a great offensive schemer in general. But I think ultimately what he does the best is building the confidence of the offense and obviously building confidence of our quarterback.
Last couple of questions before we get you out of here. Like we talked about JJ McCarthy having to hit. There's another person on this team that has to hit too, and
Mm,
that's Dallas Turner. Like we didn't see a lot
yeah,
about him last year.
yeah,
Big time pass rusher for Alabama in college, one of the best prospects to come out. I think there were a lot of people that were surprised that he didn't hit the field as
yeah,
much last year. But I mean, people got to realize number one, he was a rookie and he's playing behind Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard, two all NFL players last year, just studs. So he probably shouldn't have gotten a lot of time. But KLC has come out and said he's going to be a big part of the defense this year. They're planning on putting him on the field at the same time as Van Ginkel
yeah,
and
yeah.
Grenard. Dude, that's going to be tough up front for a lot of teams.
Oh,
Like, what are your thoughts about Dallas Turner?
I'm a huge fan of Dallas Turner. Even at Alabama, I was a huge fan. I think the energy he can bring when he's playing well and when he's feeling good about himself is unmatched. And so, yeah, I think with him getting more reps in live games is going to be huge. He didn't get as many were thinking he was going to get last year, in terms of minutes, but I think this year is his year, like KOC said. And I think with time and experience and just kind of warming up the muscle of playing in a live football game, for a consistent amount of time is only gonna make him better. And then it also doesn't hurt when we have so many dangerous weapons kind of scattered around our defense. You can't just lock in on him, double team him every single time. And the
Yeah.
way that we kind of send blitzes and do this and that, I mean, I think it's gonna really free him up to make some plays. And so I'm really excited to watch him play as well.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a much better year. I think he's a stud, and I think Minnesota Viking fans are kinda gun shy because some of these draft picks under Kwesi, it hasn't really worked out. I don't think this one is not like that. I think this guy is just gonna take some time to develop. He's playing behind 2 really, really good players, so I think last year was an outlier in terms of playing time, but he's gonna be a big part of this defense, obviously. This is our conventional playbook. We're talking to Malin Jones, AKA Latre. Let's move away from the NFL just for one bit to kind of wrap this thing up. There is a big game this weekend, Ohio State, Texas. UP Nation knows that I'm a big Ohio State guy. Obviously, you're a big Ohio State guy. Give me your thoughts about stepping out into the arena of college football, playing the number one team in the country right away.
Yeah, yeah. As a Buckeye fan, I'm a huge Buckeye fan. If people didn't know, so I'm a little nervous, obviously, but I love these big games. I love these big games. I feel very confident. I love that it's at home, right? It's at home.
Yep, yep,
Yeah. So I love that piece of it. Because away stadiums can really have an effect on how the team plays. I think Ohio State's kind of in the same position with kind of the Vikings, where it's going to really come down to how the quarterback play turns out for that team. I think obviously Ohio State will be dominant in general, but to beat those good teams, the number one team, we're going to need some good quarterback play. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm glad football is back. I think that's what I'm most hyped about, is to be able to watch some football. But again, I have high hopes for Ohio State this year, coming off a natty. Let's go get another one.
yeah. I'm a little nervous too, and here's why. Like, I think personnel wise, we can match them. I love Julian Sand, the quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Love him, love him, love him. Here's what I don't like. Two things: the revenge factor that Texas has
I
against the
know.
Buckeyes. Buckeyes
I
beat them in the
know.
playoffs last year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they are highly motivated to
Yep.
win this game. I don't like that. And then number two, we've changed both of our coordinators. Now, I think we've upgraded on the defensive side of the ball in terms of getting Matt Patricia,
Yeah.
former defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, head coach of the Detroit Lions. I
Yeah.
mean, this
Big.
dude knows defense. And then we changed our offensive coordinator as well, Chip Kelly. I can't remember where Chip Kelly went. I know he's in the league somewhere. I believe it's maybe New England
Okay.
as well. So um, that's going to be tough for us. So everything is going to be new and fresh. And so I think when you lose your two coordinators, it's the same reason why I think the Lions are going to take a step back, because they lost their coordinators. I just think that affects the team, especially early in the season.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I could see the Buckeyes dropping this game. I think it's going to be a high scoring, close game. But I
Yeah.
like the fact that it's the first game of the season, so we
Right.
have time to
Yeah.
build our resume for the college
Yeah, that
football
that
playoff.
loss wouldn't destroy our dreams by any means. You mean it's
No.
a good loss, quote unquote. So you know, I do think we can win. I don't think it's the end of the world if we lose. But I think a big thing we have to remember is that, Ryan Day was on the hot seat right before he, went
Yeah.
on that playoff run. And you
Yeah.
better hope he beats Michigan this year, because if he doesn't beat Michigan this year, I
That's
don't see
tough.
him staying, man. I mean,
That's tough.
like, I feel terrible that we've lost to Michigan so many times in a row. Like, I need to see a win, and I know I'm not alone in that. So,
Yeah.
we gotta beat Michigan. That's huge. And Ryan Day has to coach with like a chip on his shoulder. He's gotta understand that, yeah, he won a championship. That's all great, but he's still floating on that hot seat right now in my
Yep.
book.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah, he's got a lot of people don't know about Julian Sand, but he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, I watched the spring game. This kid can throw the ball, and then we got Jeremiah Smith, the best. Probably, I mean, you've got guys like Chris Carter saying that he's the best wide receiver that's ever played at Ohio
Yeah.
State. So that
Yeah.
that dude is absolutely incredible.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
s- yeah. So I think the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to have a really really good season. Beating Michigan is going to be key, and if they can beat Texas this Saturday, man, that's the best start that you could ever ask for the
Yep.
Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep. Yep.
Malin, thanks for joining us on the show, man. I know
You.
you're a busy person, but it's always good to get Latre on here to talk a little bit of Vikings, with the
Oh, yeah.
smattering of Ohio State
Oh,
Buckeyes.
yeah.
So I appreciate you having on. Do you have any new projects, anything coming out in terms of your music? What can you tell UP Nation?
Yeah, no new music coming out at the moment. Always working on stuff. I've been really diving into more of my like digital drawing art and that stuff. You can catch all that on my Instagram at Latreille Arts on Instagram. But in terms of music, there's always going to be stuff cooking. I'm always kind of writing here and there, so you'll be the first to know when something new is coming out.
Absolutely, man. And see, I think when you're all said and done at some point, because we all have to be done with things that we love, you're probably
Right.
going to have like 1,000 things in your vault that you can
Yeah.
just go in and release anytime,
Yeah.
like some of the big recording artists out there.
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of like that right now. I definitely have a hard drive with some songs that I've been kind of just holding on to. I don't know really what my plan is with them all. So, you never know. I could drop something randomly here. So, always stay tuned.
Well, we will look forward to that. We've got Unconventional Playbook. We've got Patrick Buchanan coming on this weekend to talk a little bit of pregame about the Minnesota Vikings and what to expect next Monday. And we're also going to have some other surprise guests out during the week coming on Unconventional Playbook to talk a little bit of Minnesota Vikings. We may reach back and bring on former Minnesota Viking John Turner. Again,
Woo!
great guest before to talk a little bit of Vikes coming up, what he thinks about the season, what his predictions are for the record for the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to keep trolling this thing out. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Keep us in the algorithm. Keep this thing growing. We're almost to 20,000 subscribers. So let's keep doing it. Latre, thanks, man, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on. See you later, UP. Until next time, Skull Vikes.
All right, UP Nation, we will make sure to see ya when we see ya. Skol.